We're here on Eichenwald, and it looks like a pretty good match between the Birds of Prey and the Pioneers. Now, what can we expect here, Del?
Well, from our preseason matchup, we actually saw some of these guys in effect. We saw the wonderful Pioneers, and some highlights from that game were Whale pulling out the Junkrat. He had his time to shine on Lucio on the Ilios, and then he popped out the Junkrat and went absolutely insane. This man is a clutch king. Also, to point out on this Pioneer team is Kovac, he was playing tank for a good portion of the time, and then he also pulled out some Pharah and just did a great job. And honestly, this team is really just pulled together with this great support lineup, this great tank lineup, DPS lineup, all together by Mac, the Mercy man, that just kept this stuff on lock and just really held the game down.
Right, now we see that the Pioneers are on the defense. What do you think about this choke, Del?
The choke in Eichenwald is probably one of the most well-known outside of Hannah Mara First Point, and I think that what we're looking for on this defense from the Pioneers is definitely going to be this Junkrat control and how this Junkrat can deny them that choke, on top of just really kind of being prepared to deal with any potential flank routes, because last week we saw a lot of Pharah play kind of going up and around.
Alright, now we're going to get started here. We got the Pioneers setting up at the choke. Probably going to be camping in that left side door. And just a very safe angle for Junkrat to hold. Both teams just kind of poking around. Phoenix going to poke forward with the Tracer. Both Soldier and Tracer go poking around on the left for the Birds of Prey. But they have to back out because, as you said, Whale is just going to be holding that down with that Junkrat.
And what we're seeing here is that this kind of initial control that's really strong, and we'll be seeing here as these early picks as Whale pulls off the kill on Phoenix there.
Right, now the shield's looking pretty unhealthy for the side of the Birds of Prey. Lots of cracks in that Reinhardt shield. This Junkrat is just putting so much pressure on, and Mac is just taking cover, and like his entire team is also taking cover behind that corner, playing this shield war very well. You see, there's just no commitment coming out from the Birds of Prey. They need to just go in with the speed boost or something. But now the Riptire is going to be taking down Bob and Mad Attack. That's going to be a very big opening. They could probably just engage at this point.
I mean, Whale's showing himself off. He said he was having some ping issues, but man, I couldn't even tell myself. And maybe that's just the luck of the Junkrat,
Right, now just things are looking very good for the Pioneers at this point. They're sitting on a Mercy ult. They almost have a Transcendence also. Max almost got his Earth Shatter, and there's a lot of damage coming out from Whale.
I think the most interesting use of ultage here will come down on this Zenyatta ultimate from the defense. I think this is going to be what makes or breaks that defense, and from the offense, this Graviton, I think, could be really lethal with a Space Jam combo.
Right, we got 6 ultimates on the sides of the Birds of Prey. Let's see how they use them. I'd expect the Graviton to come out immediately. They need to go in right now. Graviton comes out, all of them are caught in it, but the Transcendence goes down, both support ults as well, and the big bang combo, not quite. Phoenix will get 1 kill on the Soldier, but attack visor coming out from Bob WCC. Whale takes him down with that Riptire, and now it's going to be a good hold from the Pioneers as ProTorb's going to get the double res.
We saw kind of an interesting usage of the ultimates there. We saw Zarya pop the Graviton, we saw the Pulse Bomb go in, we saw Transcendence counter all of that, and on top of that we saw a Visor. I wouldn't have necessarily found the Visor in the Graviton, but that's just me.
Right, there were a lot of ults used there, whereas the Pioneers are actually sitting on 2 more ultimates. Very strong ultimates, just a lot of crowd control and a lot of damage. And Whale's just getting another pick, just delaying this push from Birds of Prey so much.
He's really been the man to point out. This Junkrat's just really good. He offers that control of that entire left choke and that left room, and ultimately what's going to make these Birds of Prey successful is if they swoop in on them and get that kill.
Right, what do you think they could be doing different? It's probably a little bit too past, but they should have made some change to this.
I mean, honestly, just shoving the Junkrat is what they needed to do, and they have a res, they can trade out the kill, and they really just need to commit hardly on him, and that would have been the success story there. But we're gonna see some just huge frags come out from those Pioneers, as the Birds of Prey, they're not one of the block. They're kind of split it up a little bit too much.
Right, at this point, they just need to be either backing out completely or going off to die if they can't get out. Look at that Whale getting another pick very early on in this fight, or very late in the last fight, depending on your frame of reference. Soundberry's going to come out. A nice pin by Phoenix onto Service, but Proton's going to res that immediately. Transcendence coming out, and now both supportive ultimates are cracked. It doesn't look like a very good... doesn't look like they're going to be able to get much out of this push.
No, it doesn't. You know, the man advantage is definitely on the side of the defense here. As we see these final frags out, Phoenix and Warrior are going to sit in here, but Warrior drops down, and I don't think Phoenix is going to make it. But you know, one heck of a defense there from the Pioneers.
Complete.
Right, that's the first round. Despite the grab at the end, there was just nothing to follow up, and just everyone had died before.
You know, we saw a lot of split maneuverability, and we didn't see a lot of decisiveness from that offense. And you know, I think that what defines this choke is obviously how small it is. And what I think a lot of these teams that are a little bit younger, a little bit more inexperienced, don't really have a firm grasp on yet is how to use a Reinhardt shield. It's one thing to hold up Reinhardt shield and just block some damage, you know, deny a little bit of protection for your team. But ultimately, what's best use of the shield is, in my opinion, is to use it to just shove through an area. You know, you use that 2,000 HP of it to just plow right through. And I think that if that would have been the driving force with maybe a speed boost combination, or maybe even a bubble or two to protect the squishies, you could really push upon that Whale in that room, or maybe even go up on the left side of the bridge into the IT kind of computer store there. And ultimately, what failed as the Birds of Prey was just the lack of decisiveness, the kind of split pushes. You know, there's a lot of just sitting there letting Whale do his thing, and then ultimately, you know, the caveat, the press and Q to win that just wasn't there today. And hopefully they'll be able to hold it down on this defense. What I'd like to see is this double hit scan setup. That's a really powerful setup. You know, maybe they think they're going to run a pharmacy. In addition, one of the lesser known counters to Pharah, in my opinion, but still really, really good, is Roadhog. And the reason why I pick Roadhog into Pharah is actually Gods from C9 really demonstrated this well against the old Arc 16. He could just pull that Pharah in, and if you have a Hog that can just rain in those hooks, that Pharah is going to be out of the sky. And this is a really good defense, and hopefully maybe they'll be a little bit more coordinated on this first point hold.
Right. Now we have the Pharah Mercy actually coming out from the side of the Pioneers. So this double hit scan setup will be paying off, hopefully. Sophus actually going to be at the pick. Both hit scans getting picked off. Now Kovac's just going to have a field day here. Only tanks on the point. Dive coming out from Zach Hayes on the Winston. And Rez coming out from Matt Attack, trying to keep Phoenix alive. But there's just so much pressure on this team that it looks like the Birds of Prey are just not even going to be able to hold the point. They just get forced off.
You know, that was a little bit quicker than I think we were expecting there, and those picks were pretty huge. You know, both your damage dealers dropping almost near instantaneously. You know, that's really trouble. And maybe the Birds of Prey, maybe they're just a slow starter. You know, maybe they need some quick break, a quick resupply or regrouping, and then they're gonna attack this Ilios map here with a fierce ferocity that we haven't seen yet.
Epic.
Round's gonna start. Kovac's gonna be raining some shots down, and both teams will be heading straight towards the point. Nice boop by Whale onto Phoenix already, and that's going to be the advantage going over to the Pioneers. Hooked by Mad Attack, but unable to capitalize on it to get the pick.
I'm capturing the objective.
You know, that space control is just insane from the Pioneers. They pretty much exclusively have to control the point. You know, Bark tried to make his way over there, but you know, he just got chased off with his tail between his legs.
Right, and I think the crucial factor there was actually that the Birds of Prey did not have a Lucio, so they couldn't establish any point presence.
That's
super unfortunate, but huge opening pick there from Mad Attack.
Then an immediate res, and then the boop by Kovac actually to take down Mad Attack. Whale with another great boop, and it's going to take down the D.Va mech. And looks like the Birds of Prey are just a little bit caught off guard. Like they're not finding much of a response. Spark does have the Riptire, We'll have to see what he can do with
Thanks
such
for
a
the
mobile
assist.
comp.
Push off.
You know, that Rip Tear still is a scary ultimate. That's 10 seconds of torture is what we call it on my team. Well, that could be lethal no matter what it is.
Now Bob is caught out alone with the Reinhardt shield. There's nobody really standing behind it. Whereas his entire team is going to the middle. Bob's going to be charging onto the point, but he almost falls off. Mac falls off, actually. But now it looks like the rest of his point will be pushing onto the point. And KOTOR is going to be popping his ult, as well as Lucario Wolf. Both Mercies just flying around, but unable to get much going on with those ults because nobody's really dying. Sophus going to get 2 nice picks on with that attack visor, and it's going to be another wipe for Pioneers.
You know, these last 15 seconds are super crucial. Bob going in like that is just super rough. I think that definitely what we're seeing here as a trend is that it definitely appears that the Pioneers have put in some work together. They've maybe spent some ranked games together or some custom stuff, because their coordination just seems completely outscaling or outmatching the Birds of Prey. You know, we're seeing really coordinated movements. We're seeing, you know, what looks like maybe set up positions where we have, you know, the tanks in the front, Kovac up in the high ground, and that's really just setting them apart right now. Honestly, I think that the Birds of Prey just were completely unprepared in the sense of maybe they just hadn't had that team set up yet, where they had figured out, okay, well, you're going to stand here, you're going to stand there, and we're going to move like this, or something of that nature. And I think that ultimately, you know, with teams such as we have here, where there's a large skill rating gaps, and there can be these holes and all that stuff, I think that it's powerful to have this type of setup. I think that ultimately that's going to be what really decides this upcoming match point here.
Right, now both teams are going to be running the Far Mercy here. Let's see if the Birds of Prey can come up with an answer to this composition.
Oh, this is my
We got the Far Mercy battle going off on the ground. Kovac landing a couple nice directs. Man attack is going to be pretty low, but otherwise the rest of the fighting is pretty tame. There's most of the Pioneers are on the point already, and it looks like the Birds of Prey are just really spread out, not really focusing much.
No, I mean, you know, Kovac is, to me, that's actually a really interesting name because there's a Quake player named Kovac, and he's one of the better teachers, and he's been in a lot of educational content. And he's just really showing off that Pharah to Quake gameplay, and in my opinion, that's really good stuff from coming out of Kovac today with all those meaty directs.
Right now, Kovac's going to get directed himself actually, but he's going to be able to get out of here. And Bob CT is going to be trying to dive Sophist, but otherwise, there's 3 targets being focused right now. Mad Attack on someone, Bark on someone, Bob on someone else. Will almost going down with that anti-heal, but he's able to get out. Just anybody else shooting at him would have worked. Self-destruct coming out from Mac and able to take down Lucario Wolf. The fight's done. They need to leave or die.
You know, coming into this potentially this last half of this point, we're gonna see a lot of ultimates coming up from the Pioneer side. You know, the Birds of Prey are opting for this Widowmaker pick, and if I was Widow, I'd be gunning for that Pharah right about now.
Thanks for the assist.
Right now, Mac's gonna be able to take down Phoenix, so that's already like pretty much half of the hit scan capability on the side of Birds of Prey. Man Attack's gonna try to go on the points, but it gets taken down by Zach High, and now they're just getting held court away from their spawn at this point.
And you know, we're sliding into this match point here, and what I really need to see is this Nano Boost combo potentially bringing them back into this fight.
I will watch over you.
KOTOR's gonna be popping his ult along with Lucario Wolf.
Everyone, heal up.
Nice self-destruct coming out from Mac Wolf. Will take down Man Attack and Warriornator. Attack Visor coming out to once the Diva Mech's done, and huge High Noon coming out from Phoenix, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to capitalize on this very much. The Red's gonna go down on Bark, just a lot of more beef on the point. Wise decision, but Lucario Wolf himself goes down. And it looks like Bark will also go down, and that should be the point for the Birds of Prey. or Pioneers, excuse me.
And that looks like it's going to be a pretty quick 2-0 there from the Pioneers